You are not lazy, you are sedated. You wake up tired, you reach for your phone before your feet hit the floor, you spend your day in a reactive haze, bouncing from notification to notification, video to video, sugar rush to caffeine crash. You have big ambitions. You want to build a business, get fit, write that book, or master a new skill, but by the time the evening comes, you have nothing to show for it but a drained battery and a foggy mind. You tell yourself you will do better tomorrow, but tomorrow is exactly the same. The reason you feel stuck is not because you lack talent. It is not because you're broken. It is because you are chemically dependent on a system designed to keep you weak. You're fighting a war against supercomputers, algorithms, and billion-dollar marketing teams that have hacked your biology. They have hijacked your dopamine receptors, the very chemical system your brain uses to generate motivation, and they are using it against you. You are drowning in a sea of noise, and you have convinced yourself that it is normal to struggle for air. This is not another lecture on time management. This is not about installing an app to block other apps. This is about a fundamental biological reset. Over the course of this audiobook, we are going to dismantle the invisible cage you have built around your own potential. We are going to strip away the layers of cheap stimulation that have coated your mind like plaque. We are going to perform a factory reset on your focus. Most people go through their entire lives in this state of mild hypnosis. They are consumers. They consume content, they consume food, they consume drama. They never create, because creation requires a stillness they can no longer endure. You are listening to this because you suspect there is a higher version of yourself waiting behind the noise. You are right. But to reach that person, you have to be willing to do what 99% of the population will not do. You have to be willing to unplug. If you are nodding your head right now, if you feel that friction in your chest that says this is true, then you are in the right place. Do yourself a favor. If you are ready to reclaim your mind, take a split second to like this video and subscribe to the Premier Audiobooks. Leave a comment below declaring, "I am taking control," so you can look back at this moment as the turning point. We are about to enter a protocol known as the Dopamine Detox. This is not a soft suggestion. It is a rigid, 24-hour intervention designed to kill your weakness. It will be uncomfortable. It will be boring. It will force you to sit alone with your own thoughts, which is the one thing modern society tries desperately to avoid. But on the other side of that boredom is a clarity you haven't felt since you were a child. On the other side is the ability to sit down and work for hours without distraction. On the other side is the power to choose your life rather than having it chosen for you by a screen. I am not here to motivate you. Motivation is fleeting. It is just another hit of dopamine. I am here to discipline you. I am here to give you the keys to your own brain. The world is loud. Your mind is chaotic. But for the next few hours, we are going to find the silence. The cage is open. You just have to realize you are the one holding the door shut. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The Invisible Cage You Built. Look at your hand. Right now, as you listen to this, where is your phone? Is it in your pocket? Is it sitting on the table within arm's reach? Or are you holding it, staring at a screen while my voice plays in the background? If I asked you to stand up, walk into the other room, and leave your phone behind for the next hour, how would you feel? Be honest. You would feel a phantom twitch, a subtle spike of anxiety, a nagging sense that you are missing something, that you are disconnected, that you are vulnerable. You would feel the urge to go back and check it, just for a second, just to see if a notification came through, just to be safe. That twitch is the sound of the cage door rattling. We like to think we are free. We like to tell ourselves that we use technology as a tool, that we are the masters of our devices, and that we can quit scrolling whenever we want. We tell ourselves that we are just relaxing, just decompressing after a hard day, just staying informed. But we are lying. The truth is much darker, and you need to hear it before we can move forward. You are not using the tool. The tool is using you. You have built a cage around your own mind. It is not made of iron bars or concrete walls. It is made of pixels, notifications, endless feeds, and the promise of instant gratification. You built this cage one click at a time, one swipe at a time, day after day, year after year. And now you are sitting inside it, wondering why you cannot seem to focus on your work. You're wondering why you feel anxious when the room gets quiet. You're wondering why your dreams feel so far away, while your distractions feel so close. This chapter is the mirror. I am going to show you exactly how you built this prison and why your brain is currently fighting to keep you inside it. To understand the cage, you must first understand the lock. The lock is a molecule called dopamine. Most people misunderstand dopamine. They think it is the pleasure molecule. They think it is the chemical of happiness. They are wrong. Dopamine is not about pleasure, it is about desire. It is the chemical of more. It is the biological signal that tells your brain, do that again. In the wild, this system kept us alive. It drove our ancestors to hunt for food, to seek shelter, to reproduce. When they found a berry bush, dopamine spiked, urging them to eat. When they completed a hard task, dopamine rewarded them, reinforcing the behavior so they would survive another day. It was a system designed for scarcity. It was a system where the reward always followed the effort. You had to hunt the animal to eat the meat. You had to climb the tree to get the fruit. The effort was the price of the dopamine. But you do not live in the wild anymore. You live in a world of abundance, and your ancient brain is malfunctioning. In the modern world, the link between effort and reward has been severed. You no longer have to hunt. You just have to tap an icon. You no longer have to solve a complex problem to feel accomplished. You just have to post a picture and wait for the likes. You no longer have to navigate the awkward, terrifying terrain of real social interaction. You just have to swipe right. You have access to a super stimulus, a concentrated, distilled version of reward that requires zero effort. And your brain, designed to conserve energy, loves it. Why would it choose the hard path of reading a complex book when it can get 1,000 microhits of dopamine from a 30-second video? Why would it choose the pain of exercise when it can get a flood of satisfaction from a video game victory? Your brain is logical. It chooses the path of least resistance. It chooses the cheap hit. And this is where the cage walls go up. Every time you give in to that cheap hit, you are training your brain. You are teaching it that effort is unnecessary. You are teaching it that patience is painful. You are rewiring your neural pathways to expect immediate results. You are destroying your tolerance for the slow, boring process of building a real life. Think about the last time you tried to work on something important. Maybe it was a report, a creative project, or just studying. You sat down intending to focus, but within 5 minutes, you felt it. The itch, the urge to check email, the need to look up something unrelated, the sudden realization that you needed a snack. That was not hunger. That was withdrawal. Your brain, addicted to the high-frequency stimulation of the digital world, panicked in the silence of deep work. It screamed at you to go back to the source. It demanded the pacifier. And because your willpower has atrophied, you obeyed. You picked up the phone, you opened the tab, you broke the tension. And in that moment, you reinforced the cage. You might be thinking, it's not that bad. I'm functional. I have a job. I pay my bills. But let's look closer at the cost. The cost is not just lost time, though that is tragic enough. The average person spends hours a day on their phone. Over a lifetime, that is decades lost to a glowing rectangle. But the real cost is not time, it is depth. You are losing the ability to think deeply. Deep thought requires sustained attention. It requires the ability to hold a complex idea in your mind for minutes or hours, turning it over, examining it, wrestling with it. That is where breakthroughs happen. That is where mastery is found. That is where you solve the problems that actually matter. But your attention span has been shattered. You have trained yourself to consume information in 10-second bites. You scan headlines but don't read articles. You watch clips but don't watch movies. You listen to music but don't hear the lyrics. You are skimming the surface of existence, terrified of the depths, Because the depths are quiet, and the quiet forces you to think. The cage protects you from your own thoughts. When was the last time you stood in a line at the grocery store and just stood there? No phone, no music, just standing, waiting, looking at the world around you. It feels excruciating, doesn't it? It feels like wasted time, so you pull out the device to fill the gap. You have eliminated boredom from your life. And in doing so, you have eliminated the birthplace of creativity. Boredom is the mind's way of clearing space. It is the vacuum that pulls in new ideas. When you constantly plug the holes of your day with digital noise, you leave no room for your own voice to speak. You are filled to the brim with other people's thoughts, other people's opinions, other people's lives. Who are you underneath the noise? You probably don't know anymore. You haven't met that person in years. This is the tragedy of the invisible cage. It keeps you small. It keeps you distracted. It keeps you a consumer. The world is divided into two classes of people, those who create the algorithms and those who are consumed by them. The creators know exactly what they are doing. They hire neuroscientists and behavioral psychologists to design their apps. They know the color of the notification badge that triggers the most urgency. They know the exact variable reward schedule that keeps you pulling the slot machine handle of your news feed. They are mining your attention. It is the most valuable resource on Earth, more valuable than oil, more valuable than gold, and you are giving it away for free. You are trading your life, your potential, and your mental sovereignty for a momentary distraction that you won't even remember 10 minutes from now. Does that make you angry? It should. Anger is good. Anger is energy. You need to get angry at the cage. You need to look at that black mirror in your hand and realize it is not your friend. It is a parasite. It feeds on your anxiety. It feeds on your insecurity. It grows stronger every time you scroll, and you grow weaker. But recognizing the cage is only the first step. You have to admit that you are comfortable inside it. The cage is safe. Inside the feedback loop, you don't have to face the possibility of failure. If you never start the business, you can't fail at it. If you never write the book, no one can criticize it. If you spend your night watching other people live their lives on a screen, you don't have to take responsibility for your own. Distraction is a defense mechanism. It is a way to numb the pain of unrealized potential. You know you are capable of more. That is the haunting thought that keeps you up at night. You know you have gifts that are rotting away. You know you have energy that is being siphoned off, and that knowledge hurts. So what do you do with that pain? You numb it. You grab the phone. You check the feed. You anesthetize the regret with another dose of dopamine. It is a vicious cycle. The more you distract yourself, the worse you feel about your lack of progress. The worse you feel, the more you need to distract yourself. Round and round it goes. The cage gets smaller, the walls get thicker. The years go by. Today, we stop the wheel. You are listening to this because you are ready to break out. But do not underestimate the difficulty of what comes next. Breaking an addiction to dopamine is not like breaking a bad habit. It is like breaking a bone to reset it properly. It is going to hurt. Your brain will fight you. It will scream. It will bargain. It will try to convince you that you need to check just one more thing. You must be prepared for the resistance. The resistance comes from the lizard brain, the amygdala, the primal center of fear and survival. It views the loss of stimulation as a threat. When you cut the supply of cheap dopamine, the lizard brain thinks you're dying. It thinks you are starving. It will flood your system with cortisol, the stress hormone. You will feel restless. You will feel irritable. You might even feel depressed. This is not a sign that something is wrong. This is a sign that the detox is working. This is the feeling of the parasite dying. You have to change your relationship with discomfort. You have spent your whole life running from it. Now you must turn around and face it. Discomfort is not the enemy. Discomfort is the price of admission to a meaningful life. The ability to sit with your own thoughts, to endure boredom, to focus through the friction, this is the superpower of the modern age. The people who can do this, the people who can control their attention, are the ones who run the world. Everyone else is just scrolling through it. So look at your hand again. Look at the device. It is just glass and metal. It has no power over you unless you give it power. You built the cage. You are the architect. And because you built it, you can dismantle it. But you cannot dismantle it with good intentions. You cannot dismantle it with willpower. Willpower is a battery, and your battery is drained. You need a system. You need a protocol. You need a hard reset that shocks your system back into reality. That is what the next 24 hours are about. We are not going to cut back. We are not going to set limits. We are going to starve the enemy. We are going to cut the supply lines of cheap dopamine completely. We are going to force your brain to reset its baseline. We are going to show your mind what reality feels like again. It will be the longest day of your life. It will be silent. It will be slow. And it will be the most important thing you have done in years. You are standing at the door of the cage. The lock is open. The only thing keeping you inside is the fear of what lies outside. Outside is the real world. Outside is the pain of effort, but also the glory of achievement. Outside is the silence that allows you to hear your own soul. Outside is the version of you that you have been dreaming about. Are you ready to step out? Take a breath. Feel the air in your lungs. That is real. The screen is fake. The detox begins with a decision, not a wish, not a hope, a decision, a cutting off of other options. You are either the master of your mind or you are its slave. There is no middle ground. In the next chapter, we will dissect the anatomy of your weakness. We will look at the specific triggers that trip you up. We will look at the excuses you make. We will strip away the lies until there is nowhere left to hide. But for now, sit with this truth. The cage is invisible, but it is real, and you are the one holding the key. The door is opening. Chapter 2. Anatomy of a Weak Mind. Stop blaming yourself. For years, you have looked in the mirror and seen a failure. You have seen someone who lacks grit, someone who lacks drive, someone who crumbles the moment things get difficult. You have called yourself lazy. You have called yourself undisciplined. You have labeled your inability to focus as a fundamental flaw in your character, a stain on your soul that you just can't seem to scrub out. You are wrong. Laziness is not your problem. Weakness is not your identity. These are symptoms, not the disease. The reason you fail is not because you are a bad person. The reason you fail is because you are bringing a knife to a nuclear war. You are trying to fight a biological hijacking with a concept as flimsy as willpower. You are trying to use moral brute force to override millions of years of evolutionary programming, and you are losing because the system is rigged against you. In this chapter, we are going to stop the self-loathing. Shame is useless. Shame is heavy. Shame keeps you stuck. Instead of hating yourself, we are going to dissect you. We are going to look under the hood of your psychology and understand exactly why your brain chooses the path of weakness every single time. We are going to map the anatomy of a weak mind, not to judge it, but to engineer a way out of it. The first thing you must understand is the concept of the homeostatic baseline. Your body loves balance. It craves stability. If you get too hot, you sweat to cool down. If you get too cold, you shiver to warm up. Your brain does the exact same thing with dopamine. It tries to maintain a steady, neutral level of stimulation. This is your baseline. When you're at your baseline, you feel okay. You aren't ecstatic, but you aren't depressed. You are neutral. In a natural environment, this baseline is maintained easily. You might get a small spike of dopamine from eating a good meal or laughing with a friend, and then you gently return to the baseline. But you do not live in a natural environment. You live in a hyper-stimulated environment. Every time you open social media watch adult content, eat highly processed sugar, or play a video game, you are not just getting a small bump in dopamine, you are blasting your brain with a fire hose of chemical reward. You are creating a massive, unnatural spike that nature never intended you to experience. Imagine your dopamine receptors are like sensitive ears, and dopamine is sound. In a natural world, the loudest sound you hear is a bird singing or a thunderclap. But in the modern world, you are standing next to a jet engine taking off 24 hours a day. What happens to your ears when you stand next to a jet engine? They go deaf. They have to desensitize themselves to protect you from the noise. This is exactly what has happened to your brain. This is the mechanism of downregulation. When you constantly flood your brain with cheap, high-intensity dopamine, your brain panics. It says, "This is too much. I'm overstimulated." So, to protect itself, it burns off its own dopamine receptors. It literally reduces the number of ears it has available to listen to the signal. It numbs itself. This is the catastrophic shift. This is where the weak mind is born. Because you have fewer receptors, you now need more stimulation just to feel normal. The things that used to bring you joy, reading a book, walking in nature, having a slow conversation, working on a hobby, no longer register. They are too quiet. Your deafened brain cannot hear them. They feel boring. They feel gray. They feel pointless. You have raised your threshold for satisfaction so high that reality can no longer reach it. This is why you feel empty. This is why you feel that low-level hum of anxiety whenever you aren't entertained. Your baseline has shifted. You are walking around in a state of constant dopamine deficit. You are not bored, you are in withdrawal. And here is where the trap snaps shut. Because normal life feels unrewarding, you seek out the high-stimulation triggers again. You pick up the phone, you eat the junk food, you click the video. You get the spike, you feel relief for a moment, but then the brain downregulates again. It kills more receptors. The baseline drops lower. You need even more stimulation next time just to get the same hit. You are chasing a dragon that you can never catch. This biological reality creates the behavior you call laziness. Think about it. If your brain is numb to low-level rewards, how can you possibly expect yourself to do hard work? Hard work is, by definition, low stimulation in the short term. Writing an essay, building a spreadsheet, lifting weights, these things do not offer flashing lights or slot machine sounds. They offer a slow, quiet satisfaction that comes after the effort. But your brain is deaf to quiet satisfaction. It screams, "This is not enough. Where is the noise? Where is the sugar? Where is the shock?" So, you procrastinate. You avoid the work not because you can't do it, but because your brain literally cannot feel the value of doing it. You are functionally blind to the reward of effort. This is why willpower is a lie. Society tells you that if you just try harder, you can overcome this. That is nonsense. Willpower is a limited resource. It is a function of the prefrontal cortex, the logical, thinking part of your brain. But the craving for dopamine comes from the primitive, emotional part of your brain, the limbic system. In a fight between the prefrontal cortex and the limbic system almost always wins. Why? Because the limbic system controls your survival drives. It controls your pain and pleasure. It is faster, louder, and stronger than your logic. Relying on willpower to fight dopamine addiction is like trying to hold back a tsunami with an umbrella. You might hold it off for a minute, maybe an hour, but eventually your arm will get tired, your focus will slip, and the wave will crash over you. The weak mind is simply a mind that is operating on a broken reward system. It is a mind that has been trained to prioritize the path of least resistance. Let's look at the energy conservation principle. Your brain consumes about 20% of your body's total energy, despite only being 2% of your mass. It is an energy hog. Evolution has hardwired it to conserve energy whenever possible. If your brain sees two paths to a reward, one that requires climbing a mountain and one that requires sitting on a couch, it will mathematically calculate that the couch is the better survival option. It gets the reward without the caloric cost. In the past, the couch option didn't exist. You couldn't get the dopamine of a feast without the effort of the hunt. But now, you have hacked the code. You have created a world where the reward is divorced from the effort. Every time you choose the easy path, you are reinforcing a neural pathway that says, effort is unnecessary. Effort is inefficient. Why work when we can cheat? This pathway becomes a superhighway in your brain. It becomes the default setting. This is why you pick up your phone without even thinking about it. You don't consciously decide to scroll. Your hand just moves. It is an automated script running in the background of your consciousness. You are a robot executing a program called Seek Comfort. This is a terrifying realization, but it is also the first step to freedom. Once you understand that you are fighting biology, not morality, you can stop hating yourself and start strategizing. You cannot win this war with force. You have to win it with leverage. You have to understand the concept of the gap. The gap is the space between the urge and the action. In a weak mind, there is no gap. Trigger, phone buzzes, action, check phone. It is instantaneous. It is reflexive. In a strong mind, there is a gap. Trigger, phone buzzes, the gap, observation, choice, ignore it. The goal of the dopamine detox is to widen the gap. We need to create space between your impulses and your reactions. We need to give your prefrontal cortex enough time to step in and say, no. But we cannot do that while your receptors are fried. We cannot do that while you are drowning in noise. We have to shut down the stimulation completely to let the system reset. Imagine a lake that has been churned up by speedboats all day. The water is muddy, turbulent, and chaotic. You can't see the bottom. This is your mind, right now. If you want the water to clear, you cannot beat it with a stick. You cannot force it to be still. You just have to stop the boats. You have to wait. Gravity will do the rest. The mud will settle. The clarity will return. This brings us to the most painful part of the anatomy, the fear of the void. Why do you keep the noise going? Why do you listen to podcasts while you do the dishes? Why do you fall asleep with the TV on? Why do you check your phone at red lights? You are terrified of what happens when the noise stops. When the external stimulation stops, the internal dialogue begins. And for many of you, that internal dialogue is a nightmare. It is full of regrets. It is full of anxieties. It is full of the nagging feeling that you are wasting your life. The noise is a shield. It drowns out the voice of your conscience. A weak mind uses distraction as a sedative. It keeps the volume of the world turned up to 11 so it doesn't have to hear the whisper of its own soul. Because the soul is demanding. The soul wants you to be better. The soul wants you to face your problems, not scroll past them. To kill the weakness, you have to face the void. You have to be willing to sit in the silence and let the mud settle, even if what you see at the bottom scares you. This is why the detox is 24 hours. If it were an hour, you would just white-knuckle it. You would hold your breath and wait for it to be over. But 24 hours, you can't hold your breath for 24 hours. You have to breathe. You have to exist. You have to confront yourself. The anatomy of a weak mind is built on 3 pillars. Fried receptors, you are chemically numb to real life. Automated habits, you are running scripts of least resistance. Fear of silence, you are hiding from your own thoughts. We are going to knock down all 3 pillars. By cutting the supply of superstimuli, we allow the receptors to upregulate. We allow the ears to grow back. We make the quiet things sound loud again. By imposing rigid rules, we break the automated loops. We force you to make conscious choices instead of reflexive ones. By removing the noise, we force you to make peace with the silence. We turn the void from a place of terror into a place of power. Do not underestimate how hard this will be. Your brain will lie to you. It will tell you, I need to check my email for work. You don't. It's Sunday. It will sell you, I need to watch a video to learn. You don't. You need to do. It will tell you, I'll just start tomorrow, the most dangerous lie of all. These are the death throes of the parasite. When you hear these excuses, recognize them for what they are, the sound of your weakness dying. You are about to perform surgery on your own mind. You are the patient, but you are also the surgeon. You must be cold. You must be precise. You must be ruthless. The weak mind seeks comfort at all costs. The strong mind seeks truth at all costs. The truth is, you have been sleepwalking. The truth is, you have been drug-induced into mediocrity. The truth is, the person you could be is waiting for you to wake up. We have mapped the territory. We know the enemy. We know how the trap works. Now it is time to dismantle it. In the next chapter, we move from theory to practice. I am going to give you the protocol. I am going to give you the exact rules of engagement for the next 24 hours. There will be no ambiguity. There will be no gray area. You are going to hate it, and that is exactly why you need it. Prepare yourself. The diagnosis is complete. The cure begins now. Chapter 3. Protocol 0. The 24-hour purge. This is where the tourists leave. Up until now, we've been talking. Talking is easy. Understanding the theory of dopamine is intellectually satisfying. It gives you a little hit of productive feelings without requiring you to actually change anything. You can nod your head, agree with the science, and then go right back to scrolling through your feed. But now, the talking stops. Now we enter the field of action. This chapter contains the rules of engagement for Protocol 0. This is not a suggestion. This is not a lifestyle tip. This is a rigid, non-negotiable set of constraints designed to shock your system back into alignment. Most people fail at dopamine detoxing because they try to negotiate. They say, I'll stay off social media, but I'll still listen to music, or I won't play video games, but I'll watch a movie. Negotiation is the language of the addict. When you negotiate with your weakness, you lose. You cannot bargain with a biological drive that is stronger than you. You have to starve it. You have to draw a line in the sand so thick and so black that there is no possibility of crossing it by accident. Protocol 0 is a binary state. You are either in it or you are out of it. There is no mostly detoxing. You don't mostly quit heroin. You don't mostly stop breathing. You either do it or you don't. We are going to schedule this 24-hour block. For most of you, this will be a Sunday. If you don't work a traditional job, pick any day where you do not have to be on a screen for survival, but pick it now. Do not say sometime next week. Commit to a date. From the moment you wake up on that day until the moment you wake up the next day, the rules apply. Here is the red list. These are the things that are strictly forbidden. 1. No digital screens. This is the absolute baseline. No phone, no computer, no tablet, no television, no e-reader. If your phone has an alarm, set it the night before and then put the phone in a different room, in a drawer, under a pile of clothes. If you can, turn it off completely. You are not allowed to check messages. You are not allowed to check the weather. You are not allowed to look up a quick fact. If you feel the urge to Google something, write the question down on a piece of paper and look it up tomorrow. The screen is the portal to the cage. You must seal it shut. 2. No artificial audio. This is the one that catches people off guard. No music, no podcasts, no audiobooks, yes, even this one, no radio. We are addicted to soundtracks. We use music to regulate our emotions. If we feel sad, we play sad music. If we need energy, we play hype music. We have forgotten how to regulate our own internal state without an external input. You need to hear the silence. You need to hear the ringing in your ears. You need to hear the thoughts you have been drowning out with bass and lyrics. For 24 hours, the only soundtrack is the wind, your breath, and the noise of the world as it actually is. 3. No sexual gratification. No pornography. No masturbation. No sexual activity. This is the most potent biological driver you have. Modern society has turned this sacred energy into a cheap click-button commodity. You are dissipating your vitality for pixels. You need to let that energy build up. You need to feel the tension. Tension is not bad. Tension is potential energy. It is the fuel you will use to build your new life. Do not waste it. 4. No highly palatable foods. Food is a drug. Sugar, processed carbs, caffeine, and artificial flavors are engineered to spike your dopamine just like a slot machine. For 24 hours, you eat for fuel, not for fun. If you are experienced with fasting, I recommend a 24-hour water fast. Nothing but water and electrolytes. This is the gold standard. It clears the body while you clear the mind. If you cannot fast, you eat monastic food. Plain chicken, plain rice, boiled vegetables, no sauces, no spices, no sugar, no caffeine. You will realize very quickly how much you eat just to change the way you feel rather than to satisfy hunger. 5. No social stimulants. No hanging out at the bar, no long, gossiping phone calls, no intense social maneuvering. If you live with family or roommates, tell them ahead of time, I am doing a mental reset today. I'm going to be quiet. Keep your interactions functional and brief. Stop performing for others. Stop seeking validation through conversation. Be a ghost. That is the red list. It sounds miserable, doesn't it? It sounds like a prison sentence. Good. Now here is the green list. These are the things you are allowed to do. 1. Write. Get a physical notebook and a pen. This is your lifeline. When the boredom hits, and it will hit like a truck, you write. You don't write, Dear Diary, you write the truth. You write down the thoughts that come up. You write down the anxieties. You write down the plans you have been putting off. Externalize the chaos. Get it out of your head and onto the paper. You will be shocked at the clarity that comes when you cannot Google the answer. 2. Walk. Go outside. Walk as much as you want. But remember, no headphones. Look at the trees. Look at the architecture. Look at the people. Notice how much detail you miss when you are walking inside your phone. Notice how the light hits the pavement. Reconnect with the physical reality of the planet you live on. Walking processes thoughts. It creates a rhythm for the mind. 3. Meditate. Sit still. Close your eyes. Watch your breath. You will realize how insane your mind is. You will see thoughts jumping around like monkeys in a cage. Do not judge them. Just watch them. This is the practice of widening the gap. You are training your brain to observe without reacting. 4. Deep thinking. Pick one big problem in your life. Maybe it's your career. Maybe it's your relationship. Maybe it's your health. Sit in a chair, stare at a wall, and think about it. Not for 5 minutes, for an hour, for 2 hours. Most people have never thought about a single problem for 60 consecutive minutes in their entire lives. They think for 2 minutes, hit a mental wall, feel uncomfortable, and check their phone. Push through the wall. On the other side of that friction is the solution you have been looking for. 5. Rest. Real rest. Not Netflix and chill rest. Nap. Stare at the ceiling. Stretch. Allow your nervous system to downregulate. Allow your cortisol levels to drop. Let your body remember what it feels like to not be in a state of constant emergency. The execution strategy. You cannot just wing this. You have to prepare the environment. The night before Protocol Zero, you must perform the airlock procedure. Imagine you are on a spaceship. Digital purge. Clean your physical space. A cluttered room creates a cluttered mind. If you are going to be staring at your walls for 24 hours, make sure they are clean. Do the dishes. Take out the trash. Clear your desk. Then, take your phone. Turn it off. Put it in a box. Tape the box shut. Put the box in the closet. The extra friction of the tape is important. It is a psychological barrier. If you have a weak moment and go to grab the phone, you have to break the seal. That split second of effort gives you a chance to stop. Step 2. The announcement. Tell the key people in your life that you will be offline. I'm taking 24 hours off the grid to focus. I will be back online on Monday morning. If it's a life or death emergency, call my landline/partner/roommate. This removes the anxiety of what if someone needs me? Nobody needs you that badly for 24 hours. The world will keep spinning without your reply. Step 3. The supplies. Buy the notebook, buy the pen, buy the water, buy the plain food. Have everything ready so you have no excuse to leave the house. You want to be contained. You want to be in the monk cell. What to expect? The timeline of pain. I want to be very clear about what is going to happen to you during this detox. Hours 0 to 4, the novelty phase. You will wake up and feel a strange sense of peace. The house is quiet. You will feel proud of yourself for starting. You might drink your water, do some stretching, and think, this is easy. I should do this all the time. Enjoy this. It won't last. Hours 4 to 8, the itch. The novelty wears off. Your brain realizes the dopamine isn't coming. You'll reach for your pocket and realize the phone isn't there. You will walk into the kitchen and open the fridge, not because you are hungry, but because you are bored. You will close it, walk to the living room, and then walk back to the fridge. You will start to feel restless. You will feel a low-level irritation. You will start bargaining. Maybe I can just check my email real quick, just for work. Do not do it. This is the parasite waking up. It is hungry. Let it starve. Hours 8 to 16, the void. This is the hardest part, the afternoon slump. The boredom will become physically painful. You will feel like time has stopped. You will look at the clock and swear an hour has passed, but it has only been 10 minutes. Your mind will start digging up old memories, embarrassing moments, regrets, fears about the future. This is where the real work happens. Most people numb this feeling. You must feel it. Write it down. Why does this memory hurt? Why are you anxious? You are confronting the backlog of unprocessed emotion that you have been ignoring for years. It is toxic waste, and it is finally leaving your system. Let it burn. Hours 16 through 24, the clarity. If you make it past the void, something shifts. The sun goes down, the world gets dark, and a profound calm settles over you. The twitching stops, the craving fades. You will find yourself able to just be. You might sit in a chair and watch a candle flame for 30 minutes and be perfectly content. Your brain has stopped screaming. It has accepted the new reality. The static has cleared. You will have ideas, real, creative, powerful ideas, start to bubble up from the depths. Capture them. These are the gold nuggets you have been too distracted to find. The failure condition. If you break the rules, if you check your phone for 1 second, if you eat the candy bar, if you turn on the TV, you have failed. The timer resets. You have to start over from 0 on another day. Do not cheat. If you cheat, you are only cheating yourself. You are proving to your own subconscious that you are a liar. You must keep your word to yourself. This is the foundation of confidence. Confidence comes from self-trust. If you say you will do 24 hours and you do 23 hours and 59 minutes, you have eroded your self-trust. Finish the drill. Why this works. You are resetting your sensitivity. Think of a cold plunge. When you jump into freezing water, it is a shock. It forces your body to react. It forces your circulation to wake up. Protocol 0 is a cold plunge for your mind. We are shocking your system out of its lethargy. We are proving to your brain that you can survive without the constant drip feed of content. Once you realize that you don't need the phone to survive, the phone loses its power over you. It transforms back from a master into a tool. The challenge: do not start this right now if you are in the middle of a chaotic Tuesday. Finish this audiobook, understand the full strategy, but mark the calendar, look at your schedule, find the next available 24-hour block. If you are terrified of doing this, that is the sign you need it the most. The resistance is the compass. It points to the place where you need to go. You have the instructions, you have the red list, you have the green list. There are no more excuses. The cage door is open, but you have to walk through the fire to get out. In the next chapter, we are going to go deeper into that void I mentioned. I'm going to prepare you for the psychological warfare your brain will use against you during those middle hours. You need to know the enemy's tactics before they happen. Protocol Zero is simple, but it is not easy. Steel yourself. The silence is coming. Chapter 4: The Withdrawal and the Void. The silence is louder than you expected, isn't it? You are 4 hours into Protocol Zero. You have cleaned your room, you have done the dishes, you have walked around the block twice, and now you are sitting in a chair staring at a wall, and you feel it. It starts as a physical sensation, a tightness in the chest, a restless energy in your legs. Your fingers are twitching, ghost-tapping a screen that isn't there. You reach into your pocket for the 10th time, and for the 10th time, your hand grasps nothing but fabric. Then comes the irritation. You are annoyed at the silence. You are annoyed at the ticking clock. You are annoyed at me for suggesting this. You think, this is stupid. I'm not accomplishing anything. I'm just sitting here. I could be working. I could be learning. You stand up. You pace. You sit down. You sigh. The air in the room feels heavy, oppressive. You feel a sudden, overwhelming wave of exhaustion, yet you cannot sleep. You are wired, but tired. Welcome to the withdrawal. Most people think of addiction only in terms of hard drugs, needles, and pills. They think withdrawal is something that happens to junkies in movies, shivering in a cold sweat. They do not realize that the exact same biological mechanism is happening inside their own skulls right now. You are not just bored, you are crashing. For years, you have been marinating your brain in a chemical bath of high-octane dopamine. You have been redlining your engine every single day. Now you have abruptly taken your foot off the gas. You have cut the fuel line, and your engine is sputtering. This chapter is your survival guide for the next 12 hours. I need you to understand exactly what is happening to you so you do not mistake this pain for a problem. The pain is not a problem. The pain is the cure. When you remove the superstimuli, the phone, the music, the junk food, your brain enters a state of panic. It is screaming for homeostasis. It remembers the levels of dopamine it had yesterday, and it demands to be back at that level. When you refuse to give it that hit, it punishes you. It punishes you with dysphoria. Dysphoria is the opposite of euphoria. It is a state of general dissatisfaction, unease, and mild unhappiness. It is the feeling that something is wrong. Your brain is manufacturing this feeling on purpose. It is trying to bully you into submission. It knows that if it makes you feel uncomfortable enough, anxious enough, or sad enough, you will eventually break. You will grab the phone just to make the feeling stop. You will eat the sugar just to lift the fog. This is the negotiation. This is the tantrum of the inner child. You must view this clinically. You are observing a biological system in shock. Do not identify with the feeling. You are not sad. Your brain is just low on chemicals. You are not anxious. Your nervous system is just recalibrating. This is the phantom buzz. You will literally hallucinate vibrations in your pocket. This is how deep the conditioning goes. Your neural pathways are so entrenched that they fire without a stimulus. You are like an amputee who can still feel their missing limb. You are reaching for a digital limb that has been severed. And then, after the physical agitation settles, you hit something far worse. You hit the void. The void is the space where the noise used to be. For the last decade, you have used digital noise to caress your mind. You have used podcasts to drown out loneliness. You have used social media to drown out insecurity. You have used video games to drown out the feeling of stagnation. You have filled every single quiet corner of your life with content. You have been running from yourself, and now there is nowhere left to run. When the external noise stops, the internal noise begins, and the internal noise is terrifying. This is the backlog. Imagine your mind is an email inbox. Every time you have a negative thought, a worry, a regret, or a fear, it lands in the inbox. In a healthy life, you would process these emails one by one. You would think about them, feel them, and archive them. But you haven't been processing them. You have been ignoring them. Every time a painful thought appeared, you swiped away. Every time a worry surfaced, you watched a video. You have been hitting snooze on your emotional trauma for years. Now, during the detox, the snooze button is broken and the inbox is overflowing. This is why people fail the detox. Not because they need to check Instagram, but because they cannot handle the thoughts that come when Instagram is gone. You will start to think about that relationship that failed 3 years ago. You will replay the argument. You will feel the shame wash over you as fresh as if it happened yesterday. You will think about your career. You will feel the crushing weight of how far behind you are. You will compare yourself to your friends. You will feel small. You will think about death. You will realize that you are aging, that your parents are aging, that time is running out. These thoughts are heavy. They are dark. They hurt. And your instinct will be to numb them. You will reach for the phone like a drowning man reaches for a life raft. You will want to anesthetize the truth. Do not do it. This is the most critical moment of your life. This is the moment you stop running. You must sit in the void. You must let the monsters come out of the dark. You must look them in the face. Why? Because these thoughts are not going to kill you. They are just thoughts. They are the suppressed signals of your own psyche trying to tell you something. That regret about the relationship? It is telling you what you value in a partner. That anxiety about your career? It is telling you that you are capable of more and you are wasting your potential. That fear of death? It is telling you to stop wasting your time on nonsense. The void is not empty. It is full of truth. It is full of the data you need to fix your life. But you can only access that data if you are willing to endure the pain of receiving it. This is the concept of the burn. Think about lifting weights. When you do a bicep curl, eventually the muscle starts to burn. It hurts. You want to drop the weight. But you know that the burn is not an injury. The burn is the signal of growth. The burn is the muscle fibers tearing so they can rebuild stronger. The psychological pain you feel during the detox is the exact same mechanism. It is your mental muscles tearing. It is your attention span straining against the weight of the silence. If it didn't hurt, it wouldn't be working. If you sit there and you are perfectly happy, you aren't detoxing. You are just relaxing. The detox requires suffering. The suffering is the evidence that the weakness is leaving the body. So, how do you survive the void? You do not fight it. You surrender to it. When the boredom becomes unbearable, say to yourself, I am willing to be bored. When the anxiety rises, say to yourself, I am willing to be anxious. When the regret surfaces, say to yourself, I am listening. Pick up your pen. Remember the green list? You are allowed to write. When the demons come, capture them. Write down exactly what you are feeling. I feel like a loser because I haven't started my business yet. I feel lonely because I haven't put effort into my friendships. I feel agitated because I am addicted to my screen. Get it out of your head and onto the paper. Once it is on the paper, it loses its power. It stops being a ghost haunting you and becomes a problem you can solve. You will find that after about 6 to 8 hours of this struggle, something miraculous happens. The fever breaks. The brain, realizing that no matter how much it screams you are not going to give it the dopamine, finally gives up. It accepts the new reality. It stops fighting. And in that moment, the noise in your head stops. The anxiety evaporates. The twitching stops. The boredom transforms into a deep, oceanic calm. You will look at the wall, and instead of seeing a prison, you will see a blank canvas. You will watch a dust mote floating in a sunbeam, and it will look beautiful. You will take a deep breath, and it will feel satisfying in a way you haven't felt in years. This is the resensitization. Your receptors are starting to open up. Because there is no jet engine noise, your ears are starting to hear the birds singing again. You are beginning to find pleasure in the simple fact of existence. This is the state of mind where real work gets done. This is the state of mind where art is created. This is the state of mind where complex problems are solved. But you have to pay the toll to get here. The toll is the withdrawal. The toll is the void. Most people are not willing to pay. They get to the edge of the void, they feel the cold wind of their own inadequacy, and they turn around and run back to the safety of TikTok. They choose the anesthesia over the cure. You are different. You are still listening. You have to decide right now that you will not break. When the urge hits, and it will hit hard, you must have a plan. Here is your emergency protocol for the moment of weakness. Freeze. When the hand moves to the pocket, stop physically. Hold your breath. Observe. Notice the sensation. Is it in your chest? Your stomach? Name it. Say out loud, "This is withdrawal. My brain is begging for a chemical." Wait. The urge is a wave. It has a peak. If you don't give in, it will crash and recede. It usually lasts less than 90 seconds. You can survive 90 seconds of anything. Do not try to be a hero. Be a rock. Let the water crash over you. Do not move. As you move through the afternoon of your detox day, you will feel fluctuations. You will have moments of clarity followed by waves of exhaustion. Your brain is recalibrating its energy usage. It is switching from sugar burning, cheap dopamine, to fat burning, slow, sustained effort. You might feel a headache. You might feel irritable. Your family might ask you what's wrong. Tell them, "I am rebooting," because that is exactly what this is. When a computer freezes, when it gets cluttered with too many open tabs and frozen processes, what do? You hold down the power button. The screen goes black. The fan stops spinning. It sits in the darkness for a moment, and then it starts up again. Fresh, clean, fast. You are in the black screen phase right now. It looks like nothing is happening. It looks like death, but it is the only way to get the system running again. Do not fear the darkness. Do not fear the silence. The silence is not empty. It is pregnant with potential. The person you were yesterday, the distracted, anxious, weak version of you, is dying in this silence. Let him die. He needs to die so that the new you can be born. Hold the line. Embrace the burn. Stare into the void until the void blinks first. In the next chapter, we talk about the aftermath. We talk about what happens when the 24 hours are up. Because the most dangerous moment is not during the detox, it is the moment you come out of it. The world will try to rush back in and drown you. We need to make sure that doesn't happen. We need to secure the baseline. You are doing the work that 99% of people will never do. Stay with it. Chapter 5. Reclaiming the baseline. The sun rises on Monday morning. Protocol 0 is complete. You made it. You survived the silence. You survived the boredom. You wrestled with your own thoughts, and you won. Now, you are standing at the most dangerous precipice of the entire journey. Most people assume the hard part is the detox itself. They think the battle is the 24 hours of fasting. They are wrong. The battle is what happens the moment you turn the power back on. Imagine a man who has not eaten for a week. His stomach has shrunk, his digestion has slowed, his body is sensitive. If you put a large, greasy pizza in front of him and he devours it, he will get violently ill. His system cannot handle the shock. He needs to break his fast gently, with broth, with light food. He needs to reintroduce calories slowly. You are that man. But instead of food, your starvation was for dopamine. Your brain is raw right now. Your receptors are wide open. You are hypersensitive. The silence of the last 24 hours has scrubbed your mental lens clean. If you wake up this morning, grab your phone and immediately scroll through TikTok for an hour, you will destroy everything you just built. You will trigger what is known as the rebound effect. Because your sensitivity is so high, that first hit of digital dopamine will feel better than it has in years. It will feel euphoric, and your brain, remembering the starvation, will latch onto it with a desperate, manic grip. You will binge. You will consume more in the next 3 hours than you normally would in 3 days. You will slingshot right back into the depths of addiction, and you will sink even lower than before. This chapter is your re-entry procedure. We are not going to let you crash the ship while landing it. We are going to stabilize your new baseline. The goal of the detox was not just to suffer for a day. The goal was to reset your homeostatic baseline, the level of stimulation you need to feel okay. Before the detox, your baseline was high. You needed constant music, videos, and sugar just to feel normal. Today, your baseline is low. The sound of coffee brewing sounds rich. The view out the window looks interesting. You feel calm. This low baseline is your superpower. A low baseline means you can enjoy boring things. It means you can sit down to work on a spreadsheet and not feel physical pain. It means you can read a dense textbook and actually absorb the information. The lower your baseline, the easier success becomes. Success is boring. Mastery is repetitive. If you need high stimulation to function, you will never achieve mastery because you will quit the moment the excitement fades. But if you can thrive in the low stimulation zone, you become unstoppable. So how do we protect this new state? How do we re-enter the modern world without being corrupted by it? You need to follow the reintroduction protocol. Step 1. The sacred morning. The first hour of your day is the rudder that steers the ship. If the first thing you do is react to the world, checking texts, emails, news, you have already lost control. You are in a reactive state. For the days following your detox, and ideally forever, the first 60 minutes of the morning are a no-phone zone. Buy an old-fashioned alarm clock. Stop using your phone to wake up. When you wake up, do not touch the device. Hydrate. Move your body. Look at natural light. Let your brain wake up naturally using its own cortisol spike, rather than shocking it awake with the blue light of a screen. This preserves the calm you found during the detox. It allows you to set your intentions for the day before the world throws its agenda at you. Step 2. The grayscale firewall. This is a tactical hack, but it is incredibly effective. Go into your phone's accessibility settings and turn the color filter to grayscale. Turn your screen black and white. These apps are designed by engineers who understand color psychology. The bright red notification badge is designed to trigger urgency. The colorful Instagram feed is designed to look like candy. The saturation is dialed up to stimulate your optic nerve. When you strip the color away, you reveal the device for what it really is, a tool. Instagram in black and white is boring. A YouTube thumbnail in grayscale looks dull. This is exactly what we want. We want the phone to be boring. We want to reduce the salience, the ability of the object to grab your attention. Keep your phone in grayscale for at least 48 hours after the detox. If you are serious, keep it that way forever. It cuts the dopamine reward by scrolling by half. Step 3. The notification audit. During the detox, you realized that the world didn't end because you didn't reply to a text instantly. You realized that 99% of the notifications you receive are trash. Now, before you fully re-engage, you need to build the wall. Turn your phone on, go to Settings, go to Notifications. Look at the list of apps. Be ruthless. Does Uber Eats need to notify you? No. Does a game need to notify you? No. Does Instagram need to tell you that someone you went to high school with posted a story? Absolutely not. Turn them off. All of them. The only notifications allowed on your phone should be from real human beings trying to contact you directly. Phone calls, text messages. That's it. Everything else, email, social media, news, should be something you choose to check, not something that interrupts you. You are moving from push technology, the world pushes on to you, to pull technology. You pull information when you need it. Step 4. The high-friction environment. During the detox, you put your phone in a box. You created friction. You need to maintain some level of friction in your daily life. Do not carry your phone in your pocket when you are at home. When you walk through the front door, have a designated spot, a bowl, a charger, a shelf where the phone lives. It stays there. If you need to use it, you walk over to it, use it, and put it back. Do not take it to the bathroom. Do not take it to the dinner table. Do not take it to the bedroom. By physically separating yourself from the device, you break the unconscious loop of reaching for it. You force yourself to make a conscious decision to use it. That split second of walking across the room is enough for your prefrontal cortex to ask, do I actually need this, or am I just bored? The concept of dopamine ROI. Now that your baseline is reset, you need to change how you view fun. You are not a monk, you are not swearing off pleasure forever, you are simply changing the source of your pleasure. We need to talk about dopamine ROI, return on investment. Low ROI dopamine, social media scrolling, junk food, video games, pornography. Cost, 0 effort. Reward, high spike followed by a crash. Long-term effect, depression, anxiety, weakness. High ROI dopamine, exercise, deep reading, creative work, meaningful conversation, solving a complex problem. Cost, high effort initially. Reward, slow, sustained satisfaction, serotonin and endorphins mixed with dopamine. Long-term effect, confidence, mastery, peace. Your goal is to shift your consumption from low ROI to high ROI. Now that your receptors are sensitive, you will find that high ROI activities actually feel good again. A run feels amazing because you can feel the endorphins. Finishing a chapter of a book feels triumphant because your focus is sharp. Cooking a meal feels rewarding because you are present in the process. You have to protect this sensitivity. Think of your dopamine receptors like a delicate flower garden. If you water them gently, high ROI, they bloom. If you blast them with a fire hose, low ROI, you tear them out of the ground. You have to become a snob about your dopamine. When you feel the urge to do something, ask yourself, is this cheap or is this expensive? If it's cheap, reject it. If it's expensive, meaning it requires effort from you, embrace it. The boredom reframing. Even with a reset baseline, you will still experience moments of boredom. The bus will be late. The internet will go down. You will be waiting in a doctor's office. The old you would have panicked and pulled out the phone. The new you must reframe this moment. Do not call it boredom, call it mental recovery. When you are not inputting data, your brain enters the default mode network, DMN. This is the background processing state of the brain. It is where memory consolidation happens. It is where you connect dots between unrelated ideas. It is where you process emotions. If you fill every spare second with scrolling, you never enter the DMN. You never process anything. You are just a hard drive that is constantly writing data but never organizing it. When you find yourself with 5 minutes of nothing to do, treat it as a luxury. Look around. People watch. Let your mind wander. This is not wasted time. This is the time when your brain is actually making you smarter. The slippery slope. I want to warn you about the just one fallacy. A week from now, you will feel great. You will be productive. You will feel in control. And your brain will whisper, you're doing so well. You can handle a little bit of TikTok. Just 5 minutes. You've earned it. This is the trap. Addiction works in the shadows of success. It waits until you are confident, then it strikes. If you open that door, even a crack, the floodwaters will rush in. Just 5 minutes becomes an hour. Just one video becomes a binge. And suddenly you wake up the next morning feeling that familiar fog, that heavy lethargy, that self-loathing. You have to be vigilant. You have to guard your baseline like a fortress. Does this mean you can never watch a movie again? No, but it must be intentional. There is a massive difference between deciding on Friday night, I am going to watch this specific movie with my family, and standing in your kitchen on a Tuesday afternoon, mindlessly scrolling through shorts for 45 minutes. One is an event, the other is a leak. Intentionality is the key. If you are going to consume digital media, decide beforehand, what am I watching? How long will I watch it? When is it over? Set a timer if you have to. Do not let the algorithm decide when you stop. The algorithm is designed to never stop. It is an infinite scroll. You have to be the one to apply the brakes. The 30-day stabilization. The 24-hour detox was the surgery. The next 30 days are the physical therapy. It takes roughly 30 days for new neural pathways to solidify. If you can maintain this low dopamine lifestyle for a month, it will cease to be a struggle and simply become who you are. You will become the person who leaves their phone in the car at the gym. You will become the person who reads a book at the coffee shop instead of scrolling. You will become the person who makes eye contact. You will become the person who gets things done while everyone else is talking about it. People will notice. They will ask you what changed. They will say you seem calmer or more focused. They won't understand that you haven't added anything to your life. You have simply subtracted the poison. You have reclaimed your baseline. Now the question is, what are you going to do with this newfound focus? It is not enough to just be not distracted. You have to be directed. Energy without direction is just chaos. In the next chapter, we are going to build the structure that holds this new energy. We are going to talk about becoming the architect of iron. We are going to stop relying on motivation and start building a system that makes failure impossible. You have cleaned the slate. Now let's write something magnificent on it. Chapter 7. Murdering the mediocre self. Who is the person looking back at you in the mirror? Really, look. When you brush your teeth in the morning, when you catch your reflection in a shop window, who do you see? Most of you see a ghost. You see a collection of past failures. You see the kid who didn't make the team. You see the student who got average grades. You see the person who quit the gym 3 times last year. You see the person who talks big but delivers small. You are walking around carrying the corpse of your past self on your back, and you wonder why you are tired. You wonder why you can't move fast. You have done the detox, you have built the iron fortress, you have reset your biology. But none of that matters if your identity remains the same. If you still see yourself as a lazy person who is trying to be productive, you will fail. You will eventually revert to the mean. You will snap back to the temperature of your internal thermostat. You cannot outperform your self-image. If you believe, deep down, that you are a consumer, a person who watches, listens, and buys, then you will always find a way to self-sabotage your creation. You will feel uncomfortable when you start winning. You will feel like a fraud. And to relieve that pressure, you will burn your own house down just to get back to the familiar comfort of the ashes. This chapter is the funeral. We are not here to improve the old you. The old you is the problem. The old you is addicted to dopamine. The old you loves the safety of the cage. We are not fixing him. We are killing him. We are going to perform a psychological execution of the mediocre self so that the sovereign self can take the wheel. The theory of identity lag. Why is this so hard? Why do we cling to mediocrity? Because mediocrity is safe. Mediocrity is invisible. If you are average, no one attacks you. No one expects anything from you. You can hide in the herd. The mediocre self is an evolutionary survival mechanism designed to keep you from taking risks. But you are not trying to survive anymore. You are trying to ascend. When you start acting differently, when you wake up early, when you stop scrolling, when you start building, you create identity lag. Your actions say winner, but your brain says loser. Your habits say creator, but your memory says consumer. This creates cognitive dissonance. Your brain hates dissonance. It wants the inside to match the outside, so it screams at you. Who do you think you are? You're not an entrepreneur. You're the guy who plays video games until 2 a.m. Stop pretending. This voice is the enemy. This voice is the mediocre self fighting for its life. Most people listen to the voice. They think it's their conscience or their intuition. It is neither. It is simply the echo of your old habits. To kill the mediocre self, you must understand the difference between a consumer and a creator. The consumer versus the creator. The world is divided into these two castes. There is no middle ground. The consumer is a dopamine junkie. They are a black hole. They suck in energy, information, entertainment, and food. They react to the world. They wait for things to happen. Their default state is passivity. They are the audience. They pay with their money and their attention. The creator is a dopamine generator. They are a star. They radiate energy. They build systems. They write words. They solve problems. They lead teams. They act upon the world. They make things happen. Their default state is aggression. They are the performers. They get paid in money, in status, and in satisfaction. The dopamine detox was the physical act of stopping consumption. Now we must make the spiritual shift to creation. You have spent your life training to be a consumer. You know exactly how to be a good audience member. You know how to like, comment, and subscribe. You know how to buy the merchandise. You have to unlearn this. You have to become allergic to passivity. When you feel the urge to watch a video, flip the script. Ask, how was this made? What is the lighting setup? What is the script structure? Why is this thumbnail working? Stop watching the magic trick and start studying the hands of the magician. Shift from I am being entertained to I am analyzing the craft. This creates distance. This separates you from the herd. The ritual of the funeral. I want you to visualize the mediocre self. Give him a name. Maybe it's your name. Maybe it's a nickname. Picture him clearly. Look at his posture, slumped, eyes glazed over, phone in hand. Look at his clothes, maybe sweatpants, maybe stained. Look at his energy, low, anxious, needy. This is the person who has been ruining your life. This is the person who keeps you up at night with regret. You are going to write a eulogy for him. I am serious. Get your notebook, write the death of your name. Write down everything this person was. He was lazy. He was afraid of judgment. He wasted thousands of hours on the internet. He sought validation from strangers. He let his potential rot. Get it all out. Be brutal. Do not sugarcoat it. And then, at the bottom of the page, write, he died today. He is gone. I am what remains. Rip the page out, burn it, shred it, flush it. This is a psychomagic act. You are signaling to your subconscious that a chapter has closed. You are severing the emotional cord. From this moment on, you do not refer to yourself in the past tense. You do not say, I am lazy. You say, I used to be lazy. You do not say, I have a hard time focusing. You say, the old me struggled to focus. I do not. Language controls reality. If you keep claiming the weakness, you keep feeding the weakness. The birth of the alter ego. Now that the space is clear, who steps in? You need to construct the sovereign self. This is not faking it until you make it. This is method acting your own life until the role becomes the reality. Look at the greatest performers in history. Kobe Bryant didn't just try harder, he created the Black Mamba. Beyoncé created Sasha Fierce. David Goggins created Goggins. They understood that their normal human self was too small, too fearful, too fragile to handle the pressure of greatness. So they built a suit of armor. They built an alter ego. You need an alter ego. Who is the version of you that is immune to distraction? Who is the version of you that crushes the 24-hour detox without blinking? What does he wear? How does he walk? How does he speak? Does he speak fast and nervous or slow and deliberate? Does he walk with his head down or with his chin up? Does he apologize for taking up space, or does he own the room? You must design this character, and then you must step into him. When you sit down at your desk in your iron fortress, you are not you anymore. You are the architect. You are the operator. You are the machine. Put on the headphones. That is the helmet. Put on the specific work clothes. That is the uniform. When the urge to procrastinate hits, ask yourself, would the sovereign self do this? The answer is obviously no, so you don't do it. Not because you have willpower, but because it is out of character. You are playing a role. And if you play the role long enough, the mask fuses to your face. You become the thing you pretend to be. The imposter syndrome trap. As you make this shift, you will feel the imposter syndrome. You will feel like a fraud. You will think, I'm just pretending to be disciplined. Deep down, I'm still a mess. Good. Imposter syndrome is a good sign. It means you are operating outside of your comfort zone. It means you are growing. If you didn't feel like an imposter, it would mean you were aiming too low. You should feel like an imposter. You are a white belt walking onto a black belt mat. You are supposed to feel out of place. The only way to cure imposter syndrome is not to believe in yourself. It is to stack evidence. You need proof. Every time you resist an urge, that is a vote for the new identity. Every time you finish a deep work block, that is a brick in the new house. Every time you choose the hard path, you are silencing the ghost of the mediocre self. Confidence is not a feeling. Confidence is a resume. You build the resume 1 hour at a time. The loneliness of the kill. There is a side effect to killing the mediocre self that no one talks about. Loneliness. The mediocre self had friends. He had friends who liked to complain. He had friends who liked to waste time. He had friends who bonded over mutual failure. When you kill the mediocre self, you lose those connections. You will start to find your old friends boring. Their conversations will seem trivial. They will want to talk about drama, about celebrities, about the news. You will want to talk about ideas, about execution, about the future. There will be a disconnect. They will sense it. They will say, "You've changed." They will say it like it's an insult. You must take it as a compliment. Yes, I have changed. I had to. Do not try to drag them with you. You cannot save people who love their chains. You have to be willing to walk alone for a while. The path to the top is narrow and it is single file. Eventually, you will find new friends, other creators, other architects, other people who have killed their weakness. But in the transition, you must be comfortable with the solitude. Solitude is the price of sovereignty. The main character energy. Stop acting like an NPC, non-playable character, in your own movie. An NPC waits for the hero to talk to them. An NPC walks in a loop. An NPC has no agency. You have been an NPC for too long. You have been reacting to the algorithm script. Grab the pen, rewrite the script. Main character energy means taking responsibility for everything. If you are bored, it is your fault. If you are broke, it is your fault. If you are out of shape, it is your fault. And if you are going to fix it, it is your responsibility. This is terrifying, but it is also liberating. If it is your fault, that means you have the power to change it. If it were the world's fault, you would be a victim, and victims never win. The sovereign self is never a victim. The sovereign self is a force of nature. The daily resurrection. Here is the hard truth. The mediocre self is a zombie. You can kill him today, but he will try to crawl out of the grave tomorrow morning. He will try to sneak back in when you are tired, when you are stressed, when you are hungry. He will whisper, "Just one peek, just one cheat day. It doesn't matter." You have to kill him every single morning. This is why the morning routine is sacred. When you wake up, you are rebooting the operating system. You have a choice: load mediocre v1.0 or load sovereign v2.0. You choose by your actions in the first 10 minutes. If you hit snooze, you loaded the mediocre self. If you grab the phone, you loaded the mediocre self. If you get up, sweat, and stand in the cold shower, you loaded the sovereign self. You are fighting a war for your soul, and the battlefront is the morning. The point of no return. There comes a moment, maybe it will be a week from now, maybe a month, where you will cross the point of no return. You will look at a video game, or a bag of chips, or a mindless social media feed, and you will feel a physical wave of repulsion. You won't just think, I shouldn't do that. You will feel, that is beneath me. That is the moment of victory. That is the moment the identity shift has locked in. You have tasted the steak, and you no longer crave the dog food. You have tasted the high-definition clarity of a dopamine-free mind, and you cannot go back to the fuzzy, static-filled world of the addict. You are free, but freedom is a burden. Freedom requires constant vigilance. Now that you have killed the mediocre self, you must feed the creator. You must give him a purpose. You must give him a mission. A high-performance machine cannot sit in the garage. It must be driven. What are you going to build? What are you going to conquer? Now that you have the focus, where will you aim the laser? In the next chapter, we are going to talk about the enemy, because now that you are awake, you are a threat. The world wants you asleep. The world is engineered to put you back in the coma. We are going to talk about the war for your attention. We are going to expose the tactics used by the trillion-dollar companies to break your will and how you can fight back. You have the armor. Now pick up the sword. The mediocre self is dead. Long live the king. Chapter 8. The War for Your Attention. You are under siege. Right now, at this very second, there is a war being fought. It is not being fought with missiles or tanks. It is not being fought over oil or land. It is being fought for real estate inside your skull. The prize is your attention. You like to think that your choices are your own. You like to think that you decided to watch that video, that you decided to click on that article, that you decided to buy that product. You are wrong. You were guided there. You were nudged there. You were herded there like cattle into a pen. On the other side of your screen, there is not a friend. There is not a community. There is a supercomputer. In Silicon Valley, thousands of the smartest engineers, statisticians, and behavioral psychologists in the world are clocking in right now with one singular goal: to keep you looking. They are not trying to help you. They are not trying to educate you. They are trying to extract time from your life and convert it into ad revenue. They are mining your consciousness. To them, you are not a user. You are a resource. You are a field to be harvested, and you are walking onto the battlefield completely unarmed. You are bringing a human brain, which hasn't evolved significantly in 50,000 years, to a fight against an artificial intelligence that processes billions of data points per second. The AI knows your weaknesses better than you do. It knows what makes you angry. It knows what makes you afraid. It knows exactly what color, what sound, and what headline will trigger your thumb to stop scrolling. It is not a fair fight. It is a slaughter. In this chapter, we are going to stop being victims. We are going to stop being users. We are going to expose the tactics of the enemy, and we are going to learn how to fight back. We are moving from detox to defense. The weaponization of psychology. To win the war, you must understand the weaponry. The tech giants have weaponized human psychology. They have taken the glitches in our biological software and turned them into features for their platforms. Let's look at the variable reward schedule. This is the core mechanic of a slot machine. When you pull the handle, you don't know if you will win. Most of the time, you lose, but sometimes you win big. That uncertainty is what creates the addiction. If you won every time, you would get bored. If you lost every time, you would quit. But if you win sometimes, unpredictably, your dopamine spikes through the roof. Your phone is a slot machine. When you pull down to refresh your email, that is the lever. Will there be a new message? When you open Instagram, that is the lever. Will I have a like? Will there be a hot girl? Will there be a funny meme? You don't know, and because you don't know, you keep pulling. They have engineered the pull-to-refresh mechanic specifically to mimic the slot machine. It is not a technical necessity. The feed could update automatically. They make you pull it because the physical action of pulling and waiting creates a micro moment of anticipation. That anticipation releases dopamine. They are drug dealers, and the drug is uncertainty. Let's look at the infinite scroll. In the past, media had stopping cues. A newspaper had a last page. A TV show had credits. A book had a back cover. When you reached the end, your brain received a signal. The activity is over. Move on to something else. Social media removed the stopping cues. The feed never ends. You can scroll for 10 hours and there will always be more. TikTok will autoplay the next video before you can even process the last one. Netflix starts the next episode in 5 seconds. They have removed the friction of decision. They know that if they give you a stopping cue, you might choose to leave. So they removed the exit signs. You are walking down a hallway that stretches into infinity, and you are wondering why you can't seem to find the door. There is no door. You have to break the wall. The radicalization of emotion. The algorithm has one metric: engagement. It doesn't care if you are happy. It doesn't care if you are learning. It only cares that you are staying. And what keeps humans staring at a screen longer than anything else? Outrage, fear, tribalism. The algorithm has learned that if it shows you something calm and rational, you might watch it for a minute. But if it shows you something that makes your blood boil, a politician saying something stupid, a crime being committed, an injustice, you will watch it for 10 minutes. You will read the comments. You will type a furious reply. Anger is the most engaging emotion. So the algorithm feeds you anger. It radicalizes you. It shows you the worst behavior of the other side to keep you in a state of constant fight or flight. You think you are staying informed. You are not. You are being emotionally manipulated. You are being pricked with needles to keep you awake. This is why you feel exhausted after an hour on Twitter or Facebook. You have been running a marathon of microaggressions. Your cortisol levels are spiked. Your view of humanity is warped. You think the world is burning because your screen is on fire. The world is not burning. The algorithm just knows that smoke sells. The economy of attention. You need to understand the business model. If the product is free, you are the product. You have heard that before, but it goes deeper. You are not just the product, you are the labor. When you solve a CAPTCHA, you are training their AI for free. When you post a photo, you are creating content for their platform for free. When you leave a comment, you are boosting their engagement metrics for free. You are a digital serf. You are working for the feudal lords of the internet, building their castles, and they are paying you in fake currency, likes and hearts, while they cash out in billions of dollars. Your attention is money. Every second you spend on their platform is a second you are not spending on your own business. It is a second you are not spending with your children. It is a second you are not spending reading a book that could change your life. They are stealing your future and selling it back to you as entertainment. Does that make you mad yet? It should. You need that anger. You need to realize that every time you get sucked into a doom scroll, you are being robbed. You are letting a stranger reach into your pocket and take your most valuable asset. Defensive aggression. So how do we fight back? We cannot unplug the internet. We need it for work, for connection, for survival. We cannot become Luddites living in the woods. We must become digital predators. A predator moves through the jungle with purpose. It does not graze, it hunts. The sheep grazes. The sheep wanders aimlessly, eating whatever is in front of it. You have been a sheep. It is time to become a wolf. You need to adopt a strategy of defensive aggression. This means you aggressively curate, block, and filter the information that enters your brain. You are the CEO of your mind. If an employee walked into your office and started screaming about a conspiracy theory or showing you pictures of cats or trying to sell you miracle pills, what would you do? You would fire them. You would have security drag them out. Yet you let these people into your pocket every single day. Here is your battle plan. Tactic 1. The Great Unfollow. Open your social media right now. Look at who you are following. Be ruthless. If an account does not teach you something valuable, inspire you to take action, or belong to a real friend you actually care about, unfollow. Do not keep following influencers because they're rich. Do not follow models because they are hot. Do not follow news pages that just post clickbait. Cut the fat. You want your feed to be empty. You want to log in and see nothing. When there is nothing to see, you will leave. That is the goal. Tactic 2. Train the algorithm. You can turn the weapon against its master. The algorithm gives you what you click on, so start clicking consciously. If you see a video that is a waste of time, click the 3 dots and select Not Interested or Don't Recommend Channel. Do this aggressively. If you see a video that is educational, scientific, or high value, like it, save it, force the machine to serve you. Turn your YouTube feed into a university. Turn your Instagram into a gallery of art. Make the algorithm work for you, not against you. Tactic 3. The Ad Blocker Shield. Advertisements are visual pollution. They are psychological incursions designed to create a feeling of inadequacy. You are not good enough unless you buy this. Do not let them in. Install uBlock Origin. Install Sponsor Block. Use a browser like Brave. Scrub the internet clean. When you remove the ads, you realize how much mental energy you were wasting just ignoring them. It is like turning off a buzzing neon sign in your bedroom. The silence is golden. Tactic 4. The Low Information Diet. Stop watching the news. I mean it. Stop. But I need to be informed. No, you don't. You need to be effective. The news is not designed to inform you. It is designed to terrify you. It selects the absolute worst 0.00001% of events happening on Earth and broadcasts them on a loop. If something truly important happens, if a war starts, if a pandemic hits, you will hear about it. Your friends will tell you. You will see it in the street. You do not need to check CNN 5 times a day. The news gives you the illusion of control. You think that by knowing about the earthquake in a country you can't point to on a map, you are somehow helping. You aren't. You are just depressing yourself. Focus on the news you can impact. What is the news in your bank account? What is the news in your marriage? What is the news in your body? That is the breaking news you should be worried about. Tactic 5. The search, don't scroll. This is the golden rule of the digital predator. Never open an app without a specific intention. Before you unlock your phone, ask, what am I looking for? If the answer is, I don't know, I'm just bored, put the phone away. If the answer is, I need to find a recipe for chicken, then open the browser, find the recipe, close the browser. Search involves intent. You are the hunter. You are looking for a specific target. Scroll involves passivity. You are the prey. You are waiting to be fed. Shift from scroll mode to search mode. The concept of mental sovereignty. We are fighting for sovereignty. Sovereignty means supreme power or authority. A sovereign nation controls its borders. It decides who comes in and who goes out. You need to be a sovereign individual. Your mind is a fortress. The drawbridge should be up. You only lower the drawbridge when you decide to let a visitor in. Right now, your drawbridge is down and the barbarians are looting the castle. Raise the bridge. When you practice defensive aggression, people will call you out of touch. They will ask, did you see that video of the celebrity slapping the other celebrity? And you will say no. And they will look at you like you are crazy. How could you not know? It's trending. Wear their confusion like a badge of honor. Being out of touch with the madness of the crowd means you are in touch with reality. While they are debating the latest news cycle, you are in the gym. While they are consumed, you are creating. The winner of the 21st century will be the person who can hold their attention on a single task for the longest period of time. That is the new IQ. That is the new superpower. Focus is the new oil, and you are sitting on a reserve of it if only you stop letting them drill it out of you. The final stand. This war will not end. The algorithms will get smarter. The AI will get more persuasive. The metaverse will try to suck you in completely. You have to be vigilant forever. There is no day where you can say, "I won, now I can relax." If you relax, the jungle grows back. But now you are armed. You know it's a slot machine. You know it's a Skinner box. You know they are mining you. When you look at your screen now, don't look at it with love. Look at it with suspicion. Respect the power of the enemy, but do not bow to it. Use the tool. Do not be the tool. You have cleared the weeds. You have built the fortress. You have identified the enemy. Now you have a massive, open field of potential in front of you. You have reclaimed hours of your day. You have reclaimed your cognitive bandwidth. What are you going to do with it? It is time to deploy your focus. It is time to do the work that actually matters. It is time for deep work. In the next chapter, we are going to learn how to use this weapon we have sharpened. We are going to learn the art of extreme productivity. We are going to learn how to achieve in 4 hours what the distracted masses achieve in 40. The war for your attention is won. Now, the war for your legacy begins. Chapter 9. The Superpower of Deep Work. Congratulations, you are now awake. You have detoxed your brain. You have built your fortress. You have identified the enemy. You have reclaimed your attention. You are standing in the middle of a quiet room, your mind clear, your phone silent. Now, you face the most critical question of all. What are you going to do with this silence? This is where the vast majority of people, even the disciplined ones, fumble the ball. They reclaim their time, and then they fill it with shallow work. They answer emails, they reorganize their files, they have meetings about meetings, they tweak the font on their website. They feel busy, they feel productive, but they are not moving the needle. They are just running on a cleaner treadmill. You did not go through the hell of the detox just to become a better email responder. You went through it to become a creator of worlds. You went through it to unlock the only skill that matters in the 21st century: deep work. Deep work is the ability to focus without distraction on a cognitively demanding task. It is the ability to push your brain to its absolute limit, to strain your mental muscles until they burn, and to produce something of rare and undeniable value. It is the difference between a flashlight and a laser. A flashlight eliminates a wide area, but it has no power. It just makes things visible. A laser focuses all its energy on a single microscopic point, and it can cut through steel. You have been a flashlight. It is time to become a laser. The economy of depth. We live in a bifurcated economy. On one side, there is shallow work. This is logistical-style tasks, non-cognitively demanding, often performed while distracted. Replying to Slack messages, data entry, social media management, attending Zoom calls where you mostly just listen. This work is easy. It is low value, and because it is easy, it is easily replaced. It can be done by a low-wage worker or, increasingly, by artificial intelligence. If your job consists mostly of shallow work, you are in danger. On the other side, there is deep work. This is writing code, writing a book, developing a business strategy, solving a complex engineering problem, mastering a difficult song. This work is hard. It creates new value. It is hard to replicate, and because it is hard, it is incredibly valuable. The world is drowning in shallow work. Everyone is buzzing, clicking, and chatting, but the world is starving for deep work. We are desperate for people who can actually think, people who can sit in a room for 4 hours and come out with a solution. If you can master deep work, you become a superpower. You become the anomaly. You become the person who achieves in 6 months what takes others 10 years. The physiology of flow. So what does deep work feel like? It is not just working hard. It is a specific neurochemical state known as flow. You have felt this before, perhaps by accident. You were playing a sport or working on a hobby, and suddenly you looked up and 3 hours had passed in the blink of an eye. You forgot to eat. You forgot to pee. You felt a sense of total control and effortless action. That is flow. In flow, your brain waves slow down from the chaotic beta state to the rhythmic alpha and theta states. Your prefrontal cortex, the inner critic that doubts and worries, shuts down. Your brain releases a cocktail of performance-enhancing chemicals, norepinephrine, focus, dopamine, engagement, anandamide, lateral thinking, and endorphins, pain relief. Flow is the most addictive state on earth, and unlike cheap dopamine, it is good for you. It is the state where human beings are at their happiest and most competent. The goal of the dopamine detox was to make flow accessible again. You cannot enter flow if you are checking your phone every 10 minutes. It is physically impossible. Every time you switch tasks, you experience attention residue. A part of your brain remains stuck on the previous task. If you check an email, for the next 20 minutes, 20% of your CPU is still processing that email, even if you were trying to write code. If you check your phone 5 times an hour, your brain is 100% residue. You are functionally retarded. You are operating with a fraction of your intelligence. Deep work clears the residue. It allows you to bring 100% of your cognitive resources to bear on a single point. The barrier of pain. Here is the catch. You cannot just snap your fingers and enter flow. You have to pay an entry fee. The entry fee is the struggle phase. When you first sit down to do deep work, let's say to write a report, it is going to suck. For the first 15 to 20 minutes, your brain will resist. It will feel heavy. It will feel foggy. You will feel a strong urge to get up and get a snack. You will feel the agitation we talked about in the detox. This is the friction barrier. Your brain is like a cold engine. It takes time to warm up. It takes time to load the complex information into your working memory. Most people hit this barrier, feel the discomfort, assume, "I'm just not in the mood right now," and quit. They switch to shallow work because it feels easier. You must understand that the pain is necessary. The pain is the loading screen. You have to push through the first 20 minutes of resistance. You have to stare at the blank page until beads of sweat form on your forehead. You have to force the focus. If you hold the line, if you refuse to switch tasks, suddenly the resistance will snap. The fog will clear, the gears will lock into place, and you will slip into the slipstream. You will enter the deep. The 90-minute block. You cannot do deep work for 8 hours a day. It is too taxing. It is like sprinting. You can't sprint a marathon. The elite standard is the 90-minute block. Studies on ultradian rhythms show that the human brain can sustain peak focus for about 90 minutes before it needs a reset. Here is the protocol for a deep work session. 1. Define the mission. Before you start, write down exactly what done looks like. I will write 1,000 words of Chapter 1. I will code the login feature. Do not sit down with a vague goal like work on the project. Ambiguity kills focus. Be specific. 2. Isolate. Phone in the other room. Door locked. Noise-canceling headphones on. You are in the submarine. You are underwater. Nothing gets in. 3. Execute. Start the timer for 90 minutes. For those 90 minutes, there is only you and the task. If you get stuck, you stare at the screen. You do not tab out. You do not check research. Do your research before the block or separate it into a different block. You wrestle with the problem. 4. The cooldown. When the timer goes off, stop. Even if you are in the middle of a sentence, stop. Stand up, walk away. Your brain needs to recharge. Go outside. Look at the sky. Drink water. Do not look at your phone immediately. Let the work settle. If you can do just 2 of these 90-minute blocks a day, one in the morning, one in the afternoon, you will produce more than 99% of the population produces in a week. 3 hours of deep work is worth 40 hours of shallow work. Bending reality. When you commit to deep work, you start to see a change in your output. You stop doing tasks and start building assets. Shallow work evaporates. An email is answered and then it is gone. A meeting happens and then it is forgotten. Deep work compounds. The code you write becomes software that runs while you sleep. The book you write sells for decades. The skill you master becomes a career that pays you forever. You are moving from a service economy, trading time for money, to an asset economy, investing time to build equity. The dopamine detox gave you the raw material, time and attention. Deep work is the manufacturing process that turns that raw material into gold. The boredom advantage. Remember the boredom you felt during the detox? That boredom is actually a prerequisite for deep work. To have great ideas, you need to let your mind wander. You need constructive boredom. When you are walking or showering or driving and you are not listening to a podcast, your subconscious mind is working on the problems you encountered during your deep work blocks. This is why you have your best ideas in the shower. But if you take your phone into the bathroom, you kill the shower epiphany. You clog the signal. You need to live a bimodal life. Mode 1, intense, deep work, extreme focus, high cognitive strain. Mode 2, total disconnection, rest, walking, sleeping, no screens. The middle zone, the zone of distracted scrolling, half working, half watching TV, is the kill zone. That is where dreams go to die. Stay out of the middle. Be fully on or fully off. The sniper mentality. Deep work requires you to say no. To protect your 90-minute blocks, you have to be ruthless with your schedule. You have to say no to the coffee meeting. You have to say no to the quick phone call. You have to say no to the urgent but not important request. People will get annoyed. They will call you unavailable. Let them. You are not here to be available. You are here to be effective. The sniper does not run around the battlefield firing a machine gun at everything that moves. The sniper lies in the grass, perfectly still for 3 days, waiting for the one shot that wins the war. Be the sniper. Do less things, but do them with terrifying intensity. The quality of life. There is a spiritual dimension to deep work. A life spent in the shallows is a frantic, anxious life. You always feel behind. You always feel like you are reacting. A life spent in the deep is a calm, meaningful life. There is a profound satisfaction that comes from closing your laptop after a 90-minute block, knowing you gave everything you had. You feel light. You feel good tired, like you just played a hard game of basketball. You can enjoy your leisure time guilt-free because you know you earned it. The dopamine detox is not about suffering. It is about trading the cheap, jittery pleasure of consumption for the deep, resonant satisfaction of creation. It is about trading the high of a sugar rush for the strength of a steak dinner. Implementation strategy. Tomorrow morning, I want you to try your first official deep work block. Do not start with 90 minutes if you aren't ready. Start with 45. Pick the one thing that is most important for your long-term goals. Not the most urgent thing, the most important thing. The thing that scares you. The thing you have been procrastinating on. Set the timer, lock the door, and go to war with the friction barrier. When you feel the urge to quit, remember, this is the detox working. This is you reclaiming your brain. Push through. On the other side of that resistance is the version of you that is ingenious. You have the tools, you have the focus, you have the fortress. Now, build the empire. In the final chapter, we are going to lock this in forever. We are going to talk about the sovereign mind. We are going to ensure that this isn't just a phase or a challenge you did once. We are going to make this your permanent reality. We are going to talk about mastery. You are almost there. Finish strong. Chapter 10. Unbreakable, the sovereign mind. The war is over, and the war has just begun. You have reached the end of this audio. You have traveled from the depths of the dopamine cage, through the fire of the 24-hour detox, into the silence of the void, and out the other side into the clarity of deep work. You possess the blueprint. You understand the biology. You have the tools to build the iron fortress. But I have one final warning for you. It is the most important warning of all, because if you ignore it, everything you have done up to this point will be wasted. The warning is this: entropy is patient. Entropy is the universal law that says order always degrades into chaos. Iron rusts, weed grows in the garden, muscles atrophy, and the disciplined mind, if left unguarded for even a moment, slides back into weakness. The most dangerous moment for you is right now. It is the moment you think you are fixed. You might be thinking, I did the detox. I understand the concepts. I'm cured. You are not cured. You will never be cured. Addiction to comfort is not a disease you catch and recover from. It is the default state of human biology. It is gravity. You don't beat gravity. You just learn to stand up against it. The moment you relax your legs, gravity pulls you back down. The sovereign mind is not a destination. It is a stance. It is a posture you must hold every single day until you die. This final chapter is about permanence. It is about how to take the intense, radical spike of the last few chapters and stretch it out into a lifetime of dominance. It is about becoming unbreakable. The lie of the finish line. We are obsessed with finish lines. We want the diploma. We want the championship ring. We want the exit. We want to do the hard work so we can stop doing the hard work. But in the game of self-mastery, there is no exit. If you get in great shape and then stop training, you don't stay in shape. You get fat. If you build a business and then stop innovating, you don't stay rich. You go broke. If you detox your mind and then stop guarding your attention, you don't stay focused. You become a zombie again. You must fall in love with the process, not the result. The result is a mirage. The process is the reality. You have to wake up tomorrow and kill the weakness again, and the next day, and the next. Does this sound exhausting? It shouldn't. It should sound liberating, because once you accept that there is no finish line, you stop rushing. You stop looking for shortcuts. You settle into the rhythm of the work. You realize that the discipline is the reward. The strength you feel in your mind is the trophy. The cycle of the spiral. You will fail again. Let's get that out of the way. You are human. You live in a world designed to break you. Eventually, you will have a bad day. You will get stressed. You will relapse. You will find yourself 3 hours deep into a YouTube binge, eating junk food, feeling like a hypocrite. When this happens, you will face a critical junction. The mediocre mind says, "See, I knew you couldn't do it. You're a fraud. You ruined the streak. Might as well give up." And you spiral all the way down to the bottom. The sovereign mind says, "Acknowledged, I slipped, re-engage." That is the secret. Speed of recovery. It does not matter if you fall off the wagon. It matters how long you stay on the ground. The amateur falls and wallows for a month. The master falls, stands up, dusts himself off, and restarts the protocol within minutes. Do not view your progress as a straight line. View it as a spiral. You might circle back to old habits, but you are hitting them at a higher level of awareness. You catch yourself faster. You correct yourself sooner. You are circling upward. The quarterly reset. To maintain your sovereignty, you need scheduled maintenance. You cannot just hope you stay on track. You need a system. I recommend the quarterly detox. Every 3 months, once a season, you repeat Protocol 0. You do the full 24-hour dopamine detox. Why? Because sludge accumulates. Even if you are disciplined, the noise creeps back in. The just 5 minutes rule starts to bend. Your standards start to slip. The quarterly detox is your biological oil change. It flushes the system. It reminds you of the silence. It proves to you again that you are the master. Put it on the calendar now. First day of spring, first day of summer, first day of autumn, first day of winter. Make it a ritual. Make it sacred. The concept of sovereignty. I have used the word sovereign throughout this book. I want to define it clearly. Sovereignty means supreme power or authority. Historically, a sovereign was a king or queen answerable to no one. They had absolute dominion over their territory. To have a sovereign mind means you have absolute dominion over your internal territory. It means your emotions are your subjects, not your rulers. It means your impulses are your advisors, not your commanders. It means that when you give an order, "We are going to work now," the body obeys. It does not argue. It does not negotiate. It obeys. Most men are not kings in their own minds. They are slaves living in a palace run by a tyrant called feelings. If they feel tired, they sleep. If they feel hungry, they eat. If they feel scared, they run. They have no authority. Reclaiming your sovereignty is the highest aim of human life. It is the ability to stand in the middle of a hurricane and remain calm. It is the ability to look at a temptation that would crumble a lesser man and walk past it without breaking stride. The circle of iron. You cannot do this entirely alone. We talked about the loneliness of the kill, and that is true. You must be willing to walk alone, but eventually you must find your tribe. You become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If your 5 best friends are dopamine addicts, you will relapse. It is inevitable. Their normalization of weakness will erode your standards. They will say, "Come on, live a little." They will say, "You're too serious." They are crabs in a bucket pulling you back down. You must seek out other sovereigns. You might find them in a gym. You might find them in a business forum. You might find them in the comments section of a channel like this one. But you must find them. You need people who normalize excellence. You need people who, when you say, "I'm doing a 24-hour fast," say, "Good, I'll join you." When you find these people, hold on to them. They are the walls of your fortress. The legacy of focus. Why are we doing this? Is it just to be productive? Is it just to make more money? No, those are side effects. We are doing this because your life is a limited resource. You have a specific number of hours on this planet. Every time you scroll, you are burning those hours in a furnace of nothingness. You are trading your life for pixels. When you are on your deathbed, looking back at your movie, what do you want to see? Do you want to see a man staring at a glowing rectangle? Do you want to see a man consumed by envy, watching other people live? Or do you want to see a man who lived, a man who built things, a man who loved deeply because he was present, a man who mastered his craft, a man who left a dent in the universe? Your attention is the ink with which you write your life story. If you give the pen to the algorithm, it will write a tragedy. If you hold the pen yourself, you can write a masterpiece. The final vow. We are at the end. The theory is done. The practice awaits. I want you to make a vow, not to me, not to the internet, to yourself. A vow is different from a goal. A goal is something you hope to achieve. A vow is a binding contract with your soul. Say this to yourself. I refuse to be a slave to my biology. I refuse to be a product of an algorithm. I am the architect of my life. I am the master of my mind. Feel the weight of those words. This is not a self-help book. This is a declaration of independence, a call to arms. You are now part of a very small percentage of the human population. You are the ones who have woken up. The world needs you. The world is sleepwalking into a digital coma. We need leaders who are awake. We need fathers who are present. We need creators who can focus. If you have listened this far, you are one of us. Do not let this moment fade. Do not let the inspiration evaporate. Take action immediately. Plan your detox, build your fortress, kill the weakness. If this message has successfully pierced your armor and woken you up, then I ask you one last time to solidify your commitment. Like this video, not for the algorithm, but as a digital signature that you were here. Subscribe to the premier audiobooks. Join the ranks of the sovereign minds who are refusing to be average. And comment below, I am unbreakable. Write it in all caps, scream it into the digital void. Let the world know that you are no longer a consumer, you are a conqueror. The cage is open, the chains are broken, the door is standing wide. Step through it and never look back.